Well, today we're going to talk about updates on gold and silver prices. U.S. Mint's come out with the official design for the Superman coins.
Yeah.
And kind of what we think's going on with the market. What do we think's good buys right now with gold and silver prices the way they are? I'm our coin expert, Walt Durham.
Industry veteran, Ben Parker.
And we are the coin guys from Texas. So it's been a little more steady when it comes to gold. Silver's kind of been steady for a while now, but gold's kind of, to me, it feels like the rush is over. I mean, for several weeks there, we were like, hey, 2,900, 3,000, 3,100, 3,200, 3,300, 3,400. Oh, geez, like, when is this going to stop?
Yeah, 2025 has been a wild ride.
It really has. And what do you think the tariff policies, we know that obviously affected the price going up, but now there seems to be some deals going on throughout different countries, and I think that's kind of calming the gold market down. Gold today's in the $3,300 range, not too, down a little bit from, close to 35, but still very bullish on gold. JP Morgan still expects $3,800 gold by the end of the year, with possibilities of looking at $6,000 gold by 2026. Did you read that? So they're talking about if we do enter a recession, gold at $6,000 is very likely. And one of the things that I think is interesting, we've talked a lot, but I've done more research on, and that's the gold to silver ratio.
Yeah.
Gold to silver ratio is, what, 102?
It's around 100, yeah.
102 to 1, something like that. And so everybody says, and it's been true for many, many years, the silver ratio probably stays 60 to 80, mainly around the 80 to 1. So, and I've said for a long time that one of two things have to happen. Silver's got to go up or gold's got to go down. But it's looking like that with the recent run up in gold that this necessarily doesn't they're not connected anymore. Gold has clearly paved the way for being a monetary metal, and silver's clearly looking more and more like an industrial metal. Is that kind of what you believe?
In some cases, it's really hard to say it's just industrial or, it's only going to be used only for that.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that they really believe it's going to be 50. That silver's going to be $50 an ounce soon.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, like $50 silver is not going to surprise me. What would that drop the ratio to?
Math.
Texas math is not the same, but well, you're looking about 60 to 70 to 1. So yeah, I mean, $48, $49 silver, it's been there with, less things going on in the economy than what's going on now. And good or bad,
Yeah.
This is not a political show; it's a coin show. But obviously, the tariffs play an effect on what's going on in the market.
Here's what's interesting to me, at least, is that if you watch what's been happening in the market, and because somebody made the comment to me the other day, they said, "Oh, just wait. Once all of this trade war settles down, gold's going to be 2,700 again." I said, well, hang on. If you go back and look at what the gold spot price was when a lot of this really started, it was already over 3,000 at that point.
Right.
We're, as of right now, they have a 90-day pause with because they lowered the rates between the U.S. and China, and then they put a 90-day pause on any changes so that they can do some trade talks in the meantime. So it's essentially we're in a much better standing than we were before, but the spot price of gold doesn't directly reflect that. If we're right now on the low end, I think we've seen recently is like 3,250, somewhere around there. Dips down to 3,250, 3,250 on gold. If that's the lowest, then there's no reason why it's not going to move up, here sooner, even if things do work out. Because one thing that's still adding to all of this is inflation. Yeah, we had cooler numbers come out here recently, and that's great news, but interest rates are still high.
Yeah, interest rates are pretty high.
We haven't done anything with interest rates as of late. Everybody's waiting on the Fed to come out with another statement, and inch it down lower, and Americans are starting to feel the pain right now. So I think recession's still on the table. I think gold, in terms of where it's at right now, I think it still has a lot of room to go.
Yeah, I think gold does have a lot of room to go, but not as much room as like when we were at 2,700. So it wouldn't surprise me if we end 2025 at 3,100, and it wouldn't surprise me if we end at 3,600 or 3,650.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's all. Yeah.
That's all to me. That's like a very minimal swing either way. Again, you don't buy gold in hopes that you make it. It's not like Bitcoin or something. It's not like strictly just the investment for the price appreciation or the ROI. Just to protect your wealth. One thing that I do know that from this is my 18th year in the business, and I'll say this: gold prices do affect some things, but when it comes to rare coins, what really affects pricing is going to be the stock market. When the stock market's doing well, there's way more buyers buying rare coins that do not trade, true numismatic coins like an 83010, coins like a 79010, 07 high reliefs. You have more buyers because they're making money in the stock market. They're taking some of those profits and putting them towards assets that are basically a hobby. And like even some of our bigger customers have slowed down a little bit based on stock market performance for the first quarter. And that's just because they're not wanting to tap into basically, I don't know how else to say it, but personal money. They're using stock market gains to kind of fund their hobby. So it does hurt rare coin prices a little bit. Now, truly rare coins will always be, bring big money. But I think there's some good deals to have right now. I've said this before. If you're a gold buyer, and you've seen it too, like it kind of surprised you with slightly better date 20 Saints. Where's the premium at? Slightly better date 20 Libs. Where's the premium above gold? It's just gold's ran up so high, and then you have the stock market not doing fantastic. So therefore you have an oversupply, a temporary oversupply, and premiums are just really close to melt on some of these. I mean, I was telling you the other day, Type 220 Libs are very attractive to me right now. And if you're not familiar with the Type 220 Libs, those are the ones from 1866 to 1876. Well, 10-year run right there. They're significantly rarer than Type 3s, not as rare as Type 1s, but they're most of them are true numismatics. And if they're not true numismatics, they're semi-numismatics. And there's a lot of dates, 1873 Open 3 and MS61, that you can get very attractively according to where the underlying gold value is. So it's coins like that. Like if you're a St. Gaudens fan, typically if you're going to call a company like ours or any other company in the nation, you're like, hey, I just want 20 Saints in 64, 62, 63. You're going to get 1924s and 27s. You have the opportunity now, just because gold's gone up, so many people are selling Saints. You could get some of these other dates other than 24s and 27s in your 20 Saints, and if you spend a little time, you can actually pick out these dates for generic pricing or close to generic pricing, and I think that's a good deal for a lot of individuals. $10 Indians are kind of the same way. Now we all know that New Orleans Mint 10s do not trade. They're not in that same. They will never be entered into generics. But I think a lot of those coins, 10 Indians, 10 Libs, Philadelphia and San Francisco Mint 10 Libs, stuff like that. I think you can get slightly better dates for common date pricing, and I think it's not a bad idea to go ahead and grab some of those if you're a fan of those series. But I really think there's a lot of value to be had in Type 220 Libs, more value than I've seen over the last 10 years. They're so attractively priced with gold at $3,300. I mean, realistically, to get a 100-plus-year-old coin in mint state and having basically an ounce of gold in it, and you're not paying $10,000 or $15,000 for these coins, which is kind of what you would have, in retrospect, what you would have been paying if gold was $1,600. And I think the premiums will eventually if gold steadies here, right?
Yeah.
3,300, 3,600. This is the new norm. Stock market starts doing well. You'll start seeing, and we're not the only people who notice this. So what you'll have marketing companies, other dealers say, hey, these are good values. And they go push, they put out the marketing material. Hey, type 2 $20 Liberties, great buys right now. You should, and then people start going, yeah, that's a good buy. And all of a sudden the market supply dwindles and then premiums go right back up. Yeah. So I think as a collector, if you're a gold collector, yeah, the price of gold is substantially higher than it was 7 years ago, but the value is still there.
And you're speaking in regards to the melt value or the gold content.
The gold content.
The price hasn't really ever been this tight.
No.
At least since I've been doing this, a lot of those always demanded a premium because gold was pretty much a standard set within about $100. It was there for a while, and now it's just everything's out the window. It's unbelievable. It's great. I love seeing this, and there is opportunity definitely in the $20 double eagles.
And so we don't know how this is going to affect U.S. Mint sales. It looks like it's hurting U.S. Mint sales. Listen, again, it's the two things. It's the stock market, the economy, and gold prices being at $3,300. You're looking at 2025 gold Buffalo proofs just released by the United States Mint. Sales are down. I mean,
so here, I think this is going to be specifically the 2025 $50 Buffalo and Proof 70 is going to be a really special coin. And it might not happen within a year, but eventually we've talked about this before, when we're looking at mintage numbers and you see them trending downward, like right now, last year, I want to say off the top of my head, somewhere around 8,900 coins that were struck. And they had a product limit last year for the Buffaloes of 16,000. And they roughly strike about half of that. And they know that this situation this year is a little bit worse than the previous year. Well, their product limit for this year is 14,000.
Right.
This year, they very well could strike 7,000 coins.
Right. And for if you're not a collector of the gold American Buffaloes, this kind of happened in 2020, right?
Yeah.
And that's why the 2020 Buffalo is about double the value of all the other.
They jumped up
significantly.
Fast.
Very fast.
Yeah.
So you're right. If, this is the bottom in 2026, mintages start trending back up, what you're looking for is that jump, right? And if mintage figures return to normal, let's say 20,000 plus, or even around the 18,000 range, then you'll be looking at the 2025 as one of the key dates in the series. We know it's going to be a far cry from the 2006 mintages in Proof 70, right? First year of the issue, they minted a lot of them. People were excited to buy them. Gold was $600 an ounce.
Yeah.
So I think you're right on that.
I think 2025 is going to be the bottom for a lot of these coins in Proof specifically. Not to mention, 2026 is going to be the anniversary for a lot of dates. The marketing behind next year is going to be stupendous. I can only imagine the U.S. Mint's already working on that. And, collectors are collectors. At the end of the day, when they know it's an anniversary date, we've always seen them do very well, and it's going to be the anniversary date for a lot of different coins. Everything's lining up perfectly for 2026. So I'll die on that hill. I'll say, put my stake to that claim that this year is going to be difficult for most people to, stretch and get, a proof Buffalo. Yeah. But if there was ever a time for you to do it, this would probably be the time.
They're not going to get cheaper.
Exactly.
They're not going to get cheaper than, if you're familiar with stocks, they call it an IPO, initial public offering. They're not going to get cheaper than they are right now. So that leads me to the next thing that the U.S. Mint's doing is that the Superman coin designs have been finalized. There's some candidates for the Batman and Wonder Woman out there, but the Superman, and let me tell you, they look cool. So somebody posed a question, is this a hindrance or is this a good thing for coins? And I'm going to preface that by saying, Trump came out and said, hey, it costs us 3.9 cents or 3.6 cents to make a penny. And it costs us 13.9 cents to make a nickel. Well, this made headlines, and all of a sudden, like, you're bringing attention to a hobby that has a lot of room to grow. And I say this from time and time again, take a $50 gold eagle to Taco Bell or take a $50 gold eagle to the grocery store and see if nobody will give you $50. I mean, very few people are going to give you $50 for it because they don't know what it is. So there's a lot of room for growth in when it comes to rare coins. And, you know, we've talked about in the past going to a cashless society at some point. At some point, I mean, we're leaning that way now. You know, you go to a Houston Astros game, or I mean,
there's certain areas cash isn't even accepted.
Cash isn't even accepted, and it used to be the exact opposite. It used to be only cash at places like that, and minimum purchases at, you know, convenience stores or something like that. And now nobody even cares. I mean, it's just cashless. You know, the big thing, especially around my household, is, hey, do you got any cash on you? Hey, do you got any cash on you? You know, do you got any cash on you? Got any cash on you? So all this comes into play, and I think there's a lot of room for growth. Personally, I think the Superman stuff is really good because it could get some of these younger generations. Like my daughter collects Iron Man, the Marvel coins. She was a big Iron Man fan when she was younger. So anything like that, you know, and it could mature. And of course, we all know what her dad does. So it could mature into something down the line. Yeah. But I don't see it as a hindrance to the U.S. I think a lot of maybe your older collectors are going to go, that's stupid.
There's gonna be people that
you're never gonna please everyone.
You know, yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I think this is only going to be beneficial, and even if, you know, I'm not the biggest, you know, comic book fan in the world, but it is interesting to say, you know, this is the first one of its kind to happen. What's it going to hurt to grab one of each?
Listen, I've said this for a while. It's really nice to see the U.S. Mint do something different. Especially for somebody like me who's been in the business of purchasing millions of dollars worth of coins every year, to see something different. You know, it's Silver Eagles every year, it's Gold Eagles every year, it's Buffaloes every year. To see like the pop culture type things, the Superman, the Star Privy, the Eagle Privy. You know, the Eagle Privies have done really well. The first 50,000 have come out. It'll be another 3 months before the other 450,000 coins are released. But, you know, even something as small as the Eagle Privy, I love the V75. We still love the V75 Silver Eagles. The V75 Gold Eagles have maintained a tremendous value over their gold price. I mean, good luck getting that coin for under $10,000.
Exactly.
In Proof 70. But, yeah, I like it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm sure Jordan's already put the images across y'all's screen. So, I mean, if you like it, they have a silver option or a gold option. Only time will tell. You know, will they be like $5 gold, modern $5 gold commems, or will they just be special because they are unique?
I think they're going to be special. I think they're going to be at least one step ahead of those other commemoratives.
So the question is, are you going to buy one?
100%.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Yeah. Like with all of them, you know, it would make sense to get at least one of each. It won't hurt anything to do that.
No.
What I'm curious about is moving forward. What I don't want to see happen is dilution, where they're going to be coming out the following. If this is a great success, which I think it will be, the following year they come out with other characters and other things. I don't want to see, you know, as much as it might be successful, I don't want to see fast forward 10 years from now and there be 150 different coins with animated characters and comic books and Disney this, and I don't necessarily want to see that.
I don't want to see that either.
I want to make something. If they're going to do something special like this, keep it special. And I think that's what happened with the commemoratives. Is every single year they were producing one. They were forced to come up with a new design, and it didn't really. They may have been lower minted in some situations, but they're readily available. I don't think anybody really wants them.
Well, a lot of talk happens about the first spouse coins, right? A lot of people's like, well, they're low minted. Yeah, but nobody cares. I mean, the designs are not great.
It doesn't have near the demand as any other area.
No. And that's a big thing. You can have a rare coin, but who wants to buy it? That's like we get inundated with calls during the week of people who have these mint errors that they find on YouTube. And I'm like, man, the only thing rarer than that thing is somebody wanting to buy it, because it's just, who cares?
Yeah, and that's specifically for like the, nickels, dimes, pennies.
Yeah.
If you have something that's gold or
no, that's
a
whole
different. There's two different
those
camps.
are whole different camps. Well, and the reason being is, they make 200 million. I don't even know how many nickels they make every year. It's easy to mess up on some of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're small. They get through the U.S. Mint. Whereas like a gold eagle having a strike through on it, that doesn't really happen much. So they are rarer. And there's a lot of people who collect gold eagles. People collecting westward journey nickels are few and far between.
Yeah.
And you just gotta, look, the best thing about coins is it's common sense. It really is. And if you can break stuff down to say, hey, this is common sense and it makes sense, then you're probably going to be pretty close to being right, if not right. So, yeah, I'm with you, though, on the Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman coins. I think the Wonder Woman will probably be the most popular.
Wonder Woman?
I really do.
I'm gonna think that it.
There's some dirty old men out there, bro.
Oh, I retract what I was gonna say. So you're probably right.
I don't know. Again, it's common sense.
Yeah,
and
it makes
even
sense.
me, like I'm waiting to see the Wonder Woman one to see what it looks like. It's again, like you said, it's nice to see something different. You hope it just stays, and I believe it will stay, because the U.S. Mint's not the easiest to work with, and it's not easy to get involved with the United States Mint.
They are business, though, and if it is successful, they'll find a way to get other people on.
Yeah, but let's hope they stay. I think like the Disney stuff is overdone to me. I know it's a huge market and stuff, but many other countries do like the Disney stuff, and it's nice to see something that the U.S. Mint has that really nobody else is doing. I mean, the Canadians did the Superman coin back in the day, the Superman maple leaf, and that was kind of cool, but it was just the logo. These, as you saw from the designs,
They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're beautiful coins. So only time will tell, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything else for today, Ben?
That's it.
Well, that's all we got, guys. Hope you tune in next time.